Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. You will take these pointers and revisions and make those, you can duplicate your site and make changes to that, and then you will submit that in week 4 for your revision. Do take notes because you may be asked to submit a bulleted list, but it will be easier if you make those notes on yours as you're going through. All right. Let's get started. I'm going to be looking at these as though I'm looking at them for the first time. It may not be, but we're going to look at them as a new site visitor, for example. So let's just jump in. The first thing I wonder about this, I love the colors, working well. The thing I wonder about is if I go to the home page, I lose the navigation. So the navigation needs to be in the header. And this could really be on a single page, maybe the home page, and just have the logo in the header in the top. All right, and then it will be on every page. Okay. Let's make sure we check the spelling. This happens every month. Be sure that you're using REEL. All right. So as a user, I'm required to use the back button because I don't have the navigation there. This is laid out well, easy to read. Let's close this up, remove any placeholder that comes out. You can just take that whole strip out and pull that up. Not sure what this is. I would delete that. These will need to link up to the account of the client that you're given. Okay. All right. Some pictures of, you'll need to finish this out. The menu does take the longest. If you're going to do it this way, I would make these much bigger, and I would reduce the depth on this one, all this white space. But you need some images of tacos. All right, so other than that, you've got a lot of great things going for you. I do kind of like this on white, but we do want to move that and move all this up and make sure you've got the navigation there. That's the main thing. All right, great start. Okay, have the contact last, good. All right. You may not need the privacy and accessibility statement here because it's probably not filled out or linked correctly. All right. So it is better to have the navigation up here for a small site like this in a horizontal design because it's fewer clicks. We just go up and have it right there. We do need the logo in the header. This is good. That's easy to read, well laid out. This is easy to read also, good color. And once you put the header up there, it's going to come together. The banner, I'm not a huge fan of the banner, but at least you've changed the logo in there and you've made it say Fresh Fish, so okay there. We won't need the logo here, it'll be up here. Okay, do we have this in 2 places? That's linked, that's good. We do. Looks like we have this in 2 places, so maybe it's removed from the home page. Could take that out. All right. Great start. Nice work. You do need a location button. And you have the location content here, but you're going to need a page for that. I would add a page, call it location, all right? But you're well on your way. Terrific start. Okay. You'll need a location button up here. Let's try not to, well, we don't crop logos, and let's try not to tile them like that, okay? It's enough to be up here. You could put this Real Deal Taco up here if you wanted, although it is there. You could make that smaller. There is a transparent background option file that you could put there, and it wouldn't be a square. It's a lot of scrolling. You can make this wider, or you can actually cut a few lines. Okay, good job with your menu. You've got a one page. This could be in a couple of columns so that it's not so much scrolling. Good job linking up. Okay, great. You weren't required, but you did add those. Nice. Good. Good job with your fictitious disclaimer. Okay, so this is taking up a lot of real estate, and it's not saying a lot. We don't have a taco or anything there. So I would rethink this strip up here. I would reduce that. You might want this to be blue, a darker blue, like this color. You're free to take images that are copyright free if you needed a couple, 2 people here if you wanted, or food truck. Okay, so you'll want to link these up. Home would always be over here, would be the first button. Contact would be the last. But we're not really linked to this strip. Here, there will be a line across the top of each strip, and it will be an anchor. And you will link that anchor to this. Okay. Okay, so sometimes students are working with a single page, a scrolling page. Those aren't always the easiest because the sections can get mixed up and they're no longer linked. The thing to keep in mind, just the mechanics of it, is everything that is a scrolling page is technically on the home page, right? These aren't additional pages like they might otherwise be. They're all just links on the home page to your sections, right? First, you want to make sure that your sections are named over here, okay, so that you know what you're working with here, okay, and that they are in the same order on your page as they are in your main navigation. So if you have the menu first, it should be here first. If you have location up here, the next should be location, right? You have your home always at the beginning and your contact at the end, because that's where people are used to finding these things, all right? And we don't want to make them work harder. So, but currently these aren't linked, okay? If we go to our pages and menu, we have them here. They're sections. We've named them now. But unfortunately, if we preview this, they're not going to link. Well, that one actually is because I put something there, but okay. Here's what you want to put there and what you need to do. Make sure you're on that container. Go up to the plus, and then you want to go to menu and anchor, and you're going to go to anchor, and you're going to drag an anchor here, and then you're going to name that one. Okay, let's see. We don't have to name it an anchor. I'm going to, so that you can see, I'm going to leave the anchor name there, and then you will see this, okay? And you should be able to move it, Okay, that's because wherever you click in your main navigation, up here, this button will be linking to this. So if this is down here, as sometimes happens with students, when they click something up here, it's going to land over here, but maybe they've moved things or they've made things wider, right? And so that's something to watch for. I'm going to always put it at the top, right? And probably your section is going to be larger, but just so I can show you this on one page, I have it more narrow, not so deep. So let's click on the following container and come up to add anchor and drag an anchor for that one. And we're going to name it location. That's anchor location. Okay, and you can see it right here. And it's right at the beginning. Let's go down to our next section. Add an element, menu anchor, anchor. And we're going to add that one too. And that's the about section. All right, and let's do one more. Add menu and anchor, anchor, and drag over here and call it anchor contact. Okay, so what we have over here are sections, that's the section title, and anchors. Okay, so we put those usually at the top of the section where we want it to land. That will bring that up to the very top of your screen whenever you select something. But now they're still not linked. Okay, so they're there. It's something to anchor to, but it's not linked. So let's look here. And now where we have our sections, this is the icon for a section, not a page. I'm going to make sure we're here because it will stay here and lighten this up, but you've got to actually click on it. And then change the link, and we're going to change it to the menu anchor. There it is, the menu anchor. And you can see now it's changed, right? You have your hook, you have your anchor symbol. Okay, so now let's make sure we're on location. Go up here, change link, and we're going to change from a section to the location anchor. Done. Same thing for about, change the link, go to the about anchor. Done. Contact, change the link, and go to the contact anchor, and done. All right, so now what will happen, and sometimes you have to refresh the page, to make sure that it's doing all right, or make sure you don't have too many windows open. I'm going to save that. Let's preview it. All right, so now it should be linked. If I select menu, I'm at the top of menu. And of course, yours is going to be much deeper. If I go to location, location, about, and about. Now, if I didn't like exactly where that landed, that means that's where the anchor is, and I need to bring it down here. Contact, whoops. If I were to make this deeper, I think it's going to land in the right place. Save it, preview. Because it wasn't a full page, right? It wasn't going to land just there. This one would work out better too if it were a little deeper too. Okay, and then something like that. But you don't want empty spaces, right? You can't just open something up like that. But this will work, and that will link. There's another thing you can do that will make it easier and have your navigation available all the time. Click on the header till you have your gear. Select the gear and then freeze. And again, if you've got a lot of things on, it may take a second to make that change for you, to show it. Okay, But what happens then is this will be frozen up here and always available, which is a great way to keep this friendly for your site visitors, all right? But that's if you have a one page. This can get really muddled for students. So creating a separate page is sometimes much easier, okay? But this is what you want to make sure you do. You're going to make sure that you clearly have your sections in order, the same order as your menu, and that you've linked up to anchors and you created anchors. And you did that by going to adding them here, right? Okay, I think that should fix anybody's navigation issues on their homepage. If not, reach out with any questions, all right? All right, so let's take a look at this one. It looks like we have a placeholder image in the gallery, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we want to take these images out. And the way you can do that is you are going to go into your media, and you'll be able to select those and delete them. All right, contact will go over to the last place. Let's see how we're working here. Okay, I do like this font. It's easy to read. These would need to link up. This is placeholder. And you might want some hierarchy here. Bold the days of the week. That could help. And I would delete these. They're not linked anyway, but you do need to have one set. So we only need one contact, and drop downs are really tricky. There's nothing there. Let's see. Okay, we want to definitely update the bottom here, right? Your footer, that has to be updated. We need to have the disclaimer in here, and we need to have all placeholder text removed. We don't need the store policy or pickup, any of those. Take that out, the shop. And this would have to match your location hours. Okay, this comes out. All right, so, and this. So make sure that you're going through. You don't have to have that. You can take it out since that is not the name of the client. All right. Good job here. Just the footer needs to be worked on. We also want to make sure that when you are on another page that you can still see the page you're on. Okay, so we need it shouldn't be white. All right. Okay, the menu is where you're going to be spending the most time. Okay, so you have two contact places. This should be renamed locations. Okay, because it's linking to the location page. That's linking correctly. All right, so you want to go through that, grab all of these and just hit delete on your keyboard, and you need to have the menu up at the top there. You want to close up all this empty space as well. All right, so set aside several hours this weekend so that you can complete this, and you'll like what you have in the end. And it'll be a great portfolio piece. Okay, let's see, nice. Make sure that any buttons are working. Good job. You can edit this down. Okay, clean. I like the colors that you have. Don't recommend a drop down. However, it is clearing everything. We'll see how it's working. Okay. Yeah, this may be taking up more space than we need. We can get into this content quicker because we don't need that here. We can have it up here. But good color combination, and so far your drop-down menu is not overlapping important content, so that's working for you there. You'd have to check once you got into mobile, which you're not responsible for this month. You'd have to see how that's working. It probably would be a hamburger link and be fine. All right. All right. Great job so far on this one. I don't really see that there's anything missing. So kudos to you. We'll go ahead and look at the mobile. You're not required to work on it, but just to see, you may have already looked at it. Okay. And sides. All right. Good. All right. Nice job. Just a couple of little things there. And then you're on your holiday break almost. There is week 4 still. Okay. Nice work there. Okay. Same thing. Grab all these, delete them, put the logo in the header. Make sure we have sufficient contrast to read these. And okay, it's not really an online shop with SKU numbers, etc. And we want to know what is actually in their ingredients. So instead of shop, that would be menu. Right? We pay attention to the web standards that people are looking for and what search engines are looking for. And shop has a different connotation. We avoid glassware for food trucks. Okay. And yeah, all of these would have to have this removed. And you would need to take, okay, these are linked up. But you would need to have their descriptions of the food and what's in it, okay? Yeah. So far, yeah. Okay. This would have to be higher contrast, and we don't really need a drop down for a page this small or for a site this small. Okay, so let's just drag those up and remove the book online application. I do like this font. You will need to have the disclaimer down here in the footer. And let's take this out so we don't have an empty page. All right, so just a little longer for this one to be tipped up. All right, good work. All right, so you can take some of this content out. We can reduce this section. And this becomes hard to read, this text, but definitely make it larger if you're going to use that. And we need to remove the bullets and use some hierarchy. If you remember that from your aesthetic class, we're going to look at your typography and make sure that we can organize this when we scan it. All right. Okay, and just use 2 fonts, one for headings and one for paragraph text. All your headings should be the same. Good job linking up. We need to have a contact form there. This should either be centered or left aligned. Okay. All right, so let's make sure that we're not, just play with that a little bit. It will resize and stop cropping. You need to work on that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. It's a great start, everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing your finishes. Well done.